The galactic conglomerate had seen countless species rise from their primitive stages into the stars. Most failed. Some stumbled into obscurity. A few became allies. But when they looked upon Earth, they laughed. Crude steel, unstable drives, and weapons that seemed more like toys than tools of war. Their fleets and empires dismissed humanity's prototypes as little more than the hammering of children against the vault of the sky. Reports from surveyors described Earth's first ships as fragile coffins, their weapons archaic chemical propellants, their armor little more than heat shield plating. In council chambers across the galaxy, the name human became a synonym for irrelevant. Other species, young and old, looked past Earth with indifference. The humans, however, kept building prototype after prototype. Their failures were spectacular. A ship that disintegrated on its maiden voyage. Another that vented its atmosphere when firing its own weapons. They built fast, tested recklessly, and scrapped entire classes within months. To aliens accustomed to centuries-long development cycles, it looked like chaos. But to humans, it was progress. The conglomerate sent observers, amused by the desperate scurrying of Terran engineers. They will never matter, one Krovian warlord declared. Their toys can barely pierce an asteroid. The council laughed in agreement, their archives recording humanity as another insignificant people in a galaxy already overcrowded with mediocrity. Yet the humans did not stop. They pushed each failure forward, their engineers relentless, their test pilots willing to burn alive for data. They built ships that cracked apart at launch, then ships that reached the edge of their solar system. They built weapons that missed their mark, then weapons that punched holes where none were thought possible. Alien strategists dismissed it all as flailing. Why waste resources, they asked. Why spend blood and metal on things that will never work? Their reports piled up with the same conclusion: humanity was not a threat, not worth attention, not worth fear. Then, in the silence of deep space, one ship launched. It had no designation the conglomerate recognized, no class they had catalogued. It was forged in secret, its lines sharp, its heart fueled by something the aliens had dismissed as impossible. Its name was whispered among humans as Valkyrie. The Valkyrie's maiden voyage was not a test. It was a strike. Humanity had grown weary of being ignored, of being mocked, of being dismissed as irrelevant. The ship appeared at the edge of a border system belonging to the conglomerate and tore their first fleet apart in less than an hour. Alien sensors screamed disbelief. Their shields folded as if they weren't there. Their armor, thought invincible, melted like wax before weapons they couldn't comprehend. Their formations shattered before a vessel that fought with precision, speed, and fury no machine of theirs could match. The conglomerate scrambled reinforcements. Dozens of ships jumped into the system, veterans of 1,000 battles. They had confidence, history, superiority of numbers. Yet when the Valkyrie turned toward them, the tide of the battle was already written. It carved through them like a scalpel through flesh, leaving only burning wreckage. Across the galaxy, watchers froze. Their councils silenced. Their strategists rewrote doctrines in panic. A people once dismissed as irrelevant had unveiled a weapon that shattered the balance of power. They had skipped centuries of slow refinement through reckless willpower and sacrifice, and now stood with a weapon none could rival. What frightened them more than the Valkyrie itself was the implication. If this was a finished ship, how many prototypes had they tested to reach it? How many failures had they burned through, each one laying the foundation for something unstoppable? Humanity's chaos had become evolution accelerated. The conglomerate demanded answers. How could one world build what ancient empires could not? How could primitives surpass civilizations that had ruled the stars for millennia? And the answer was whispered with dread: humans failed faster. They broke, learned, rebuilt, and tried again. Where others feared mistakes, humans used them as fuel. In the ruins of the conglomerate's shattered fleet, the Valkyrie hung silent, a lone predator among corpses. Its hull scarred, its weapons spent, yet it remained, alive, victorious, undefeated. Humanity sent a single message through the ruins, translated into every tongue: prototype phase complete. The galaxy, for the first time, believed them. Species that had mocked humanity now feared the word Earth. Civilizations that had ignored their clumsy beginnings now rewrote their strategies around human unpredictability. Alliances shifted overnight. Borders trembled, and still, in their shipyards, humans built more. Not copies, not stagnation, but new designs, new prototypes, each more daring than the last. For them, the Valkyrie was not the end. It was only the beginning. The galaxy finally understood the truth it had ignored for so long. Humanity was not dangerous because of one ship. Humanity was dangerous because they never stopped. They would fail 1,000 times. They would burn, bleed, and break. But in the end, they would rise with something the galaxy had no defense against. The Valkyrie had obliterated fleets. Humanity's will would obliterate empires. Whispers spread faster than light across the networks of the stars. The tale of the Valkyrie became legend within days, a name spoken in hushed awe among military leaders and with trembling fear among common folk. To them, the destruction of the conglomerate fleet was not just a loss, it was a rewriting of the laws of galactic power. The conglomerate, humiliated, attempted to downplay the event. Official reports called the Valkyrie a lucky strike, an aberration, a weapon fueled by chance rather than genius. Yet their own commanders knew better. The wreckage of their fleets told no lies, and the silence of the systems they once ruled echoed their defeat louder than propaganda ever could. Other empires, long content to sneer at humanity, began dispatching spies and envoys. They sought blueprints, secrets, or even whispers of how Earth had achieved the impossible. Yet their spies vanished, their envoys returned with nothing but riddles. The humans shared nothing, not because they were greedy, but because they had no intention of stopping their march forward. What the galaxy did not understand was that Earth had not poured its entire might into the Valkyrie. It was not their masterpiece, it was merely the first of many. Even as alien intelligence agencies scrambled, the shipyards of Earth burned bright with welding sparks and thunder, constructing vessels that would eclipse even the Valkyrie. Some alien historians compared it to myth. They spoke of ancient races who had once defied the galaxy, only to fall into ruin. But when they looked at humanity, they saw something different. Those ancient empires had faltered when they reached perfection, unwilling to change. Humanity, however, thrived in imperfection. Their prototypes were not shame, they were lifeblood. The second strike came faster than anyone expected. A sister ship to the Valkyrie, named Fenrir, appeared along the border of a hostile empire allied to the conglomerate. Entire defense fleets arrayed to meet it, boasting of lessons learned from the Valkyrie's debut. Yet when the Fenrir unleashed its fury, it unveiled weapons unlike the Valkyrie's, proving that Earth was not refining a single design but exploring dozens in parallel. The defenders crumbled. Their fleets were not merely beaten, they were dissected. Fenrir's weapons adapted mid-battle, recalibrating in real time to bypass shields, armor, and evasive tactics. By the time survivors limped away, their command structure annihilated. One truth was undeniable: Earth's strength was not the ship itself but the unpredictability behind it. Panic spread. Civilizations once certain of their supremacy began preparing for war, not against each other, but against Earth. The humans had become the pivot upon which galactic destiny now turned. To ignore them was suicide. To oppose them was annihilation. To ally with them meant survival, but also submission. Humanity, for its part, spoke little. Their leaders did not boast. Their fleets did not parade. They did what they had always done: built, tested, failed, and built again. For them, war was not glory. It was inevitability. They had been dismissed for too long, and the galaxy's mockery had kindled something they could never extinguish, and so the stars trembled, for they understood a final truth. The Valkyrie was not the weapon. Neither was Fenrir. Humanity itself was the weapon, relentless, unyielding, and willing to burn the cosmos down until nothing remained but their will.